All right, hello everyone, and welcome. Crash here. This is RTA Motorsports. Let me move this a little bit. Doesn't seem to be completely focused for whatever reason. Not really sure what's going on there. All right, so let's make sure chat is working, and then we're gonna get going. All right, there we go. So now it looks pretty focused. So you see that box that's back there, that big box that's been in a lot of the live streams lately, the box that my wife wants me to get rid of. That is our Prosimu update. Their well, I guess you could say upgrade or update to the T1000 3 degrees of freedom motion rig. And yeah, let me just make sure that everything is going. But we're going to be working on installing that today. The reason why I put part one is because we have to tear down most of this rig. A lot of parts of this rig are really heavy. It's not like an aluminum profile rig. Most of this rig is steel. So yeah, we might have to do this in two parts. The goal is to get it done before the weekend. The weekend we have a endurance race with Jesse. Hopefully I'll have the rig back up and running by then. Hopefully, we'll see. Let's see, it doesn't look like chat is working. Let me go to... There we go. All right, chat is going. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. We do have chat up. Chat is working. I'm gonna put that over here where I should be able to see it clearly. And yeah, so we're gonna have this going. Now, one thing I do wanna show is basically, I wanna show the rig that we have, because I don't know if I ever recently showed you guys basically the website or anything like that. Let's see. Let me bring up the browser here so you could all check this out. Let's see, where is window capture? I know I have one on here somewhere. Let's just add one real quick. Boom. All right, so let's change this over. There we go. So this is Prosimu's three degrees of freedom motion rig right here. This is basically essentially the rig that we have. So a lot of you guys ask, what type of rig is it? Where can you get it? Stuff like that. Just prosimu.com, and that's prosimu.com. This is their static rig. They're basically their entry-level rig. From here, you could buy add-ons. You see it's $449 US. From here, you could buy add-ons, make it 2 degrees of freedom with actuators in the front only, and that's what we started off with, and that was absolutely amazing. And then not too long ago, we added this third actuator on with this whole bottom piece, and that really opened it up. I mean, that really changed the game as far as feeling and being able to drive from the seat of your pants, feeling what the rig is doing. So this is the rig that we have here. What the upgrade is, and it may seem minor to you guys, but I think it's actually going to be beneficial in the long run and just really strengthen up the rig, is they have an upgrade piece. Mr. Mac, how you doing? This bottom piece here is actually wood, and mine looks perfectly fine. Mine has never cracked. Mine has never had any issues. I've had this rig for quite a few years now. But this bottom piece here is now metal, and this is going to mount to it, and it kind of looks like I might be able to hide some of the cables in that. I'm not really sure, which kind of ties into like if I were to do the 5 degree of freedom motion rig. Most of that bottom piece here is all metal, so I think it's really going to tie into that. But I think this is the only part that we're going to be changing here is this back piece, this wood that the back of the rig is actually sliding on. Now, on top of this wood is metal strips. So the rig itself is rolling on metal. It's not just rolling on wood, or else it would create divots and over time kind of dig out a trench there. It's not like that at all. I think this is perfectly sufficient, but he created an update, and I feel it's going to do nothing but strengthen the rig for the better. So he was kind enough to send it to us. We're going to install it. We're going to get this going. But you can see here, everything sits on top of here. So in order for us to do this, we're going to have to take everything off. And it is quite heavy. There's a lot of cables, a lot of wires. And we're probably going to use this opportunity once we start putting it back together to really clean up the wire management a little bit. Because some of my wire management, a lot of things got plugged in, a lot of things got unplugged over the years. And yeah, we're probably going to be taking some things out. My old butt kicker, I'm probably going to get rid of that because now we're using the Sim Racing Studio pad, which I still have to do reviews on. Stay tuned for that. Just got notification that a certain item from Derek Spears Designs is going to be getting shipped in. I actually just shipped yesterday, so hopefully within the next 2 days we should be getting it, hopefully. And then that's going to further change this rig. I just, looking at what it is, I don't want to say too much. I want to keep it a little bit as a surprise, but I might have to think of a different idea for this handbrake. Hopefully it doesn't get in the way of that. Very well might, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, all right, everyone, let's get to the install. I'm gonna get up here. We're gonna change this view a little bit, and we're gonna start doing the teardown of this rig and some of these wires. It's kind of weird. I'm using my Lav Mic, so I may be looking at my feet a lot to make sure that I'm not catching the wires on anything, because I don't really have a wireless mic. I tried to set up my Bluetooth headphones. I have the brand new, and let me show you guys this. I have the brand new Samsung Galaxy Buds. These guys. Ooh, come on. Focus, focus, focus. Doesn't want to focus. There we go. Okay. Kind of focusing. Struggling. Anyway, so we have the Samsung Galaxy Buds, the new ones, and I absolutely love them. I love high-end audio, all that. The problem that I'm having is whenever I try to put this through like my computer for Bluetooth connectivity and actually use the microphone, it is constant static. Now the audio coming through actually sounded good, and audio coming through on my phone sounds great. Phone calls on my phone sounds great, but for some reason connecting to the PC isn't great at all. And I was going to try to use this as a wireless solution for today's install, you know, so that way I have some freedom and I can move around, maybe do some front flips, maybe a cartwheel or two. No, wasn't working at all. It was nothing but a crackly mess. I was supposed to start this stream about an hour ago, and I was trying to get this cleaned up. Didn't work. So we're going to be on the Lav. I may be messing around with wires a little bit to make sure we don't rip the mic out or destroy this mic, because this is my favorite Lav mic. But yeah. And the Lav mic we're using, just in case, because I know a lot of you guys do videos as well. I have tons of Lav mics, but this is the only one I ever use. Let me see what the name of it is again. It's called Savage. And this one here, reason why I have the bag back there, it's actually a dual Lav mic. So it's made for if you're doing any sort of like interviews or anything like that. So it's actually a really good lav mic, really thick cable. I like it. All my other lav mics seem to throw a lot of static. This one does a little bit, but it's nowhere near as bad as all the other lav mics that I have. All right, guys, so let's do this install. Excuse the mess because you're going to see tons of wires. And let's make sure. There we go. So off to the right there, that computer setup, this desk, some people ask what this chair is about. This is my wife's setup over here that she never uses, but that's her Ryzen PC. She's got the 1700X processor and a 1050 Ti. We're hopefully going to be getting the 3090 in this system. We have the 3900X, just in case you have any questions as far as what you could see in here. And I got some tools. We might have to get some more tools depending on what we need. All right, so let's start getting some things out of the way. Take the headphones out. Mr. Mac. I really need to, I think I just need to get the mod mic, the wireless one. I think that's going to fix all the issues that we have as far as needing a wireless mic of some kind. Bring this up a little bit. Let me turn that LED light off. Guys are kind of getting like a scenes from the backstage sort of look as to what's going on. Over there, that's a Canon DSLR that I use as a webcam. Canon and Sony now have webcam software, but the Sony software is pretty terrible. So we have that going through an Elgato still. If you guys have used the webcam softwares that are now being released from some of these DSLRs and mirrorless companies, let me know what you think of the Canon or the Sony. The Canon works sometimes, very finicky. The Sony, I just haven't been able to get it to work yet at all. All right. You know what? We'll just leave that right there. Okay, so now I'm going to have to go underneath and start unplugging some of these actuators. Let me actually do it on this side. There's control boxes that they go to. All right, that's the traction loss. And of course, make sure before you ever do anything with your rig, if you do have a motion rig, please unplug it first. These are my old taillights from my Camaro ZL1, the OEM ones that it came with. This company, 5th Gen DIY. I think it's, no, Gen 5 DIY. I think it's Gen 5 DIY. They sell a lot of like random harnesses. They actually make a plug-in harness for it. That's why we have the taillights on sometimes. Let's see, what else do I have to unplug? Lots is what I have to unplug. All right, let's see. So hopefully everyone's having a decent day today. Shifter's unplugged. Where's the handbrake's going right to the pedal, so I shouldn't have to unplug that. That should be just separate. The webcam for the pedal cam has to get unplugged. Wire management's gonna be easy to kind of update and tidy up once I have this whole rig out of here. Big time. Can't wait. All right, so let's unplug these two. So each actuator has two cables going into a harness to the control box. There's that one. And the other side. Let's see if I can reach that from here. Yep. We don't need to unplug that one. Here's the other wire. Let's see if I can pull that out. So tomorrow's the big day release for the 3080. How many of you guys actually going to be going after that 3080? Or are any of you guys going to be going after the 3090? All the reviews today seem pretty amazing for the 3080 versus the versus the 2080 Ti. I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about it myself. It kind of feels like all I would need is the 3080. But I'm still going to try to get my hands on the 3090. But man, that 3080 compared to the 2080 Ti is pretty sick. All right, let's see what else we got to do. I know I'm going to have to unplug that wheelbase. That's unplugged. Let's feed that wire through. So the pedals are still connected, but I think I'm going to slide this rig out a little bit first and see where I have those wires plugged into. The butt kicker is still, has its wires still ran, but there we go. There's a midline disconnect. So we just disconnected that. That makes that easy. And I think we're ready to attempt to slide the rig backwards. You're going to be hearing a lot of crashing noises, and I apologize if it's going to be loud, but we're going to try to do this as easy as possible. It is extremely heavy. Let me get this seat pad off. Let me disconnect this here. This is the transducer cushion. That review's hopefully coming soon. Don't need the extra weight of this. All right. So I always found the easiest way to do this is have two people, but when you can't, I just lean it back and forth, take each actuator out of its cup. And now the front's free. The front actuators just sit in little cups. And now I'm just going to slide it back. Yeah, always try to have two people when doing this. Now I'm going to slide it back slowly so that way we can make sure we're not pulling any wires. I think I disconnected everything already. All right, so the pedals are now pretty obvious where that cable's going. So I'm going to disconnect that so we don't tear any cables. It'll be a good time for me to actually service the pedals too. Just going to take all the wires down so that way I could work on rerouting everything. Not sure I'll have this rig up in time on Saturday, but hopefully I will. That's the goal. Okay, so problem that I'm seeing here. The rig is wider than the desk, so I'm gonna have to kick it way to one side, feed one actuator through, then kick it the other way. All right. Feels excessively harder than it should be, but it is all steel. Let me take this butt kicker off. Again, don't need more weight than we I mean, look at this thing. This thing is crazy. I highly recommend them. Where I have mine mounted, you can see it right down here, mid-rig. Not a great spot for it. If you are considering a rig like this, try to get like the cushion transducers like we have from Sim Racing Studio. Those are awesome. You really feel them, and it doesn't shake your whole rig. Doesn't make it a vibration sort of mess. But the way that we had it mounted mid-rig, you more so felt it in the pedals. You didn't really feel it in the seat bottom. You want your transducer to be as close to your seat or on your seat if possible. So just a little piece of advice there. That's kind of why we're getting rid of that. We have kind of a better option now. Let's see. I kind of have to be on this side because of the wheel mount bar. What I'm using to lift with. Kind of feeling resistance, like I'm fighting against something here. What could I be hitting? All the wires are disconnected. Let me drive back here. I know I'm hitting the desk on this side. Let me continue turning it maybe. Oh, I see what I was hitting. This here, I don't know if you guys can see down this far, but there's a little stopper here and over here that the back kind of sawhorses on and rocks on. And yeah, I was hooked onto that. So there we go. All right. All my gym days come down to this. Actually unplugged the camera. Let me see how much battery we have. All right, cool. We're looking good. We're still looking good, guys. All right. So, all right. So we have the iframe there. Let me move this out even more. I'm going to get my desk chair in the hallway. Definitely helps to have a bigger room if you can. Boom! All right, so we got this thing completely out of the way. You won't have any use of that Sawhorse rocker with the additional actuators, will I? So I'm not going 5 degrees of freedom if that's what you're thinking. All we're doing is the back piece where the traction control connects to. Right now it's a wood construction with metal screwed to the top of it. The update that they sent us is it's going to be all metal instead of a wood MDF base. So not really a super exciting update. It is for me because it's only going to strengthen it, because actually if you look, well, it's kind of hard for you guys to tell, that wood MDF is kind of leaning back because it's on carpet. So it was kind of twisting a little bit. Didn't affect the A-frame at all, didn't affect how the rig works at all. It's just what the rig sits on. It's just like a base that the rig sits on. Now it's going to be metal. So, but he also included some new bearings and everything. So we're going to be kind of just going through and doing some maintenance work. I'm actually going to vacuum some hard to reach areas that I wasn't able to before. Just really clean this rig up. But here, let me take this camera here so you guys can all see what's going on. So that back, that's the traction loss there. This is a traction loss actuator. This iframe is what my rig sits on top of. On the front there, the front right and front left, can't really see it. Let's see, there we go. The front right and front left, there's little cups that the front actuators sit in. This back piece is just MDF that this traction loss rides on. So this whole iframe goes to the left and right. That's what controls it. This back piece here is now going to be metal. Everything is going to mount to that in metal. It's no longer going to be wood. So pretty exciting, but I'm also going to be able to clean this up a little bit. And because I wasn't really able to before, being that it was all underneath the rig. There we go. Can you hear me? I'm assuming you could all hear me. How you doing, Mom? My mom's in here. That is, it's kind of an inside joke, but that's her name there, Grandma Sasha. But yeah, that's my mom's. Everyone say what's up. All right. And I also really do need to clean up these pedals. I don't know how the heck we got so much. My dog's never up here, but we got a ton of dog hair on the back of my pedals. All right. So let me move this rig over a little bit more so we have more room to work. That rig's got to be, just the top part of that rig with the actuators and everything on it has got to be well over 100 pounds. This part here. This is basically the rig. If you got no motion on it, this is what it would be like without any actuators. I mean, if you pretend to not see these two front actuators, and that thing is heavy and solid. It really is. No. We're not, so we're not installing any more actuators yet. We're just kind of getting things upgraded a little bit more a little bit more stiff. So they sent us basically an upgrade or an update to the existing rig that the 3rd degree of freedom motion cockpit's going to sit on. Eventually, I look to go 5 degrees of freedom, but for that, I have to go to their PRS 200 actuators, which are much faster, but they're also much lighter. I mean, much longer. And if you saw how the rig was at the beginning of the stream, the rig sits under my desk. I don't think I could do that with those actuators, so I'm going to have to come up with a whole nother setup and probably get rid of my desk here, the corner piece. Get a monitor mount. It's going to be much more involved than just upgrading to 5 degrees of freedom. So yeah, if I get those actuators, I probably can't have the desk. At least this corner piece is going to be monitor mounts and everything like that. It is in the plans for the future, but not yet. Not yet. It's very expensive, and yeah. I don't expect Prosimu to just send me that. So that's kind of like their that's their top level actuator setup at the moment. So yeah, but I do intend to eventually. So let's take this apart. Let's slide this out. This shouldn't be that bad weight wise. There we go. Man, that thing was stuck into the carpet. I do have some sliders on there, furniture sliders, but yeah. All right, so we got to take the front nut off so that way we could lift off the actuator. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm going to need some more sockets and whatnot to get that traction loss off. Let me see. I don't even think I have the size big enough that I need. Yeah, so Prosimu, as far as their rig goes, for the weight of their rig and everything like that, they want you to use their PRS 200. So, yeah, they're just really tall. I'm sure I could find other actuators that are much shorter. What they used to use were the stronger SEN6s, but they ended up going away from that because the more weight you have on the actuators, obviously the more weight that the actuators have to lift, right? So when you start putting more and more weight on these actuators, the slower the response gets, the more smooth the motion is, which is not always a good thing. But yeah, the reaction speed slower and everything like that. And you end up causing more strain on the actuators in the long run. So you could be victim of basically your actuators dying on you, or the actuators are just not going to be able to lift the rig and you. So they got away from that. They ended up getting their own actuators designed, and these are much stronger, much faster. There's a lot of people that use them. The only thing is like on this rig here, you see the top of my chair, it almost looks like they come up to about here as far as their height when the rig's all the way down. So, it's going to be an eventual thing. I just have a lot that we're going to have to do beforehand as far as my office before we could actually get to that point. And the cost of upgrading is expensive. So, yeah. I think I'm going to need a bigger socket set. All right, guys. So I'm just going to leave this here for a moment. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. The stream is not done yet. I just need to grab some more tools. I didn't realize. So just a second. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for waiting. Sorry about that. Let's get disassembling this iframe here. So I'm going to take the third degrees of freedom actuator off first. Let's see what size this is. There we go. There we go. There's not many pieces once you take the top off, the top of the rig off. So that's kind of nice. I think it's actually going to make reinstallation very quick. And you can kind of see how the traction loss works. The back of the rig, right now it's hitting into that, just slides right on that metal there. But the back of it is kind of slanting down. So I can see why they wanted to do this update. Smaller. Let's see. What size is that? Wow, that was actually pretty loose. All right, so now I'm ready to lift this iframe off. And on the underside, we're going to see the little bearings that enable the traction loss to work. And it's still in good shape. These are both in decent shape. They still have some decent amount of oil on them. You got two in the front. So you have two on the back here, two in the front. He actually included new ones, so we're just going to take these out and replace them. Might as well, we're already there, right? Okay. And we have a little nut back here. Great. Now I don't know if I have something that small. Let's see if I have something that small. I might. Let's see. Should have brought my whole setup here. When you hit your own mailbox and do 3,000 damage to the car? So, I think I'm trying to think what company, but I think, Andrew, if you're still here, I think they do sell a standalone motion platform, but you put your rig on top. I think. I might be wrong there. Let's see, this kind of looks like it might actually be the right size. All right, looks like I do have the right size. That works. Yeah, it is expensive. Andrew, it is, but I thought, I want to say there was another company, I don't know if it's GT Omega or what, was just making like a standalone traction loss only. I don't remember who it was though. And you put your rig on top of it. Kitami. Yeah, it's been quite a bit. So the nice thing about it is whenever you buy anything in the simulator community, a lot of times you can get your money back pretty easily. And as far as, you know, resell and eBay and stuff like that. So that is something I've always leveraged was, you know, no matter what I bought, I was able to resell it. And that always worked out pretty well for me. So it just, you know, small upgrades over the years slowly worked out to be where we are now. Yeah, let me actually. But yeah, this hobby could get as expensive as you want it to be. Just like any other hobby, you know? I can't say I have as much invested in this hobby as someone that bought a really nice golf cart. I mean, I'm sure I have a lot less invested than someone buying a golf cart. But unless they bought one used, you know, it's like, so really it all depends on where you're at and what you want to invest. But, you know, every hobby, like I said, whether it's remote controlled airplanes, quadcopters, stuff like that, any hobby could get as expensive as you want it to be. And there are several people out there that have invested way more into this hobby. I always try to find things on a good deal, used or open box. But the nice thing about this stuff, the direct drive wheel, for instance, the motion rig with these actuators, is they rarely go bad. It happens, but they rarely go bad. So, you know, in the beginning, I was buying a lot of belt-driven wheels and whatnot, Thrustmaster wheels, and I loved my TX wheelbase that I had. But, you know, when those wheels died, or if I had issues with them, it costed a lot of money. I kept having to hop in and out of each wheel that I was getting in and out of. Since I bought my direct drive wheelbase, haven't had to ever address that. So it just lasts. Can't say it's going to last forever, but it's probably going to last a lot longer than any other belt-driven wheel out there. And this actuator's this system here has never given me any issues. So I don't know. It's, you step up to a certain level and they seem to last a little bit longer. So there could be that argument. I don't know. It's really not as expensive as one might think, though, to get to this level. Anyway, have any of you guys ever tried RTX voice? We have RTX voice on now. PT actuators. So wait, I think Norman Robinson, who's in this chat every so often, I think he actually ordered some of those. He has an amazing looking rig. And I can't wait to see where it's coming to, but he was actually going to do D-box motion, and I think he ended up doing the PT actuator. So you might want to ask him. He's commonly in these live streams. I don't know where he is today, but we're going to try. I'm going to boost up RTX voice, and I'm going to try to vacuum, and we'll see if it's picking up the vacuum. I'm going to move this OBS, Streamlabs OBS over, and we're going to see if it's picking it up. I'm going to move this out of the way. Before we take it apart. I'm honestly surprised we got it fully taken apart today. I thought this was going to take 2 days. That really wasn't as bad as I was expecting, to be honest with you. And then once I vacuum this, then I'm going to go under and start working on some of the that's crazy. It looks like it's coming through a little bit now. I have the vacuum going right now, and it doesn't really seem to be picking it up much. That's awesome. You gotta love RTX voice, you know? Wow, that's crazy. Oh, the vacuum's almost dead. I might have to get the big stand-up one. Before this one's fully dead, I do want to vacuum out the pedals. Oh no, it died. I gotta get this thing on the charger. Let me get the... Let me get this little guy on the charger, and then I'm gonna get the... I'm gonna switch the view over. I'm gonna get my big vacuum and hit this real quick so that way we can start working on some wire management, and then we'll unbox that. CJ, what's going on? Just a moment. Yeah, that's crazy, huh? You didn't hear that vacuum at all. It's probably making my voice right now seem really compressed because I have RTX voice all the way up. But I'll be right back. We'll test it with the big vacuum. Let's see if the big vacuum gets picked up. Alrighty, so we're back with the big guns to check RTX voice. All right, let me plug it in. Let me know, guys, if you actually hear this, because I have RTX voice on and all the way up. That's crazy. Looks like it comes through a little bit. But it all depends on like what I'm doing with it. If it thinks maybe that's a voice. That is crazy. Can you guys actually hear me through it, or does it sound like really... Check 1, 2. Well, can we have a moment of silence for my favorite? I just got done saying that I don't want to get that cord caught on anything. That's my favorite lavalier setup. Ah! And I just ripped the cable. It got stuck in the vacuum and tore the cable in half. Anyway. So this is my backup Lav setup, and it's not the best. I'm not really... I don't know how it sounds right now. It might actually sound pretty good, but it's not my favorite. Every time I've used it, it always sounded kind of funky. And the cables are much shorter, much shorter than what I had on that last Lav that I just destroyed. My favorite. So I'll try to make this work. But I'm definitely going to order another one of those. I'm probably going to order one and then order the Mod Mic wireless. Yeah, CJ, you talk about the monitor, no doubles or triples, or? All right, so that's done. And I just knocked down the noise suppression a little bit, so hopefully it won't have this. I don't know if it was giving any sort of weird sound effect. Sometimes noise suppression, you could hear the noise suppression on, but we'll see. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit, only a little bit of wire management, and then we'll start unboxing that and see where we're at. So this here, this is going to come out. This is my Butt Kicker Gamer 2 wire. So that could get ready to come out. Really not much I can do. Just trying to tuck things up out of the way so things are not drooping as much as they were. It's kind of annoying. Every time I try to take a picture of it, you would see all these wires kind of drooping down. I have cages underneath. They're from IKEA, these wire management cages. They're nothing terribly special or anything like that, but they are effective. I just wish they were a little longer. That's the only thing. Do wish they were a little longer. I'm going to move a few things around. Where's that going to? Oh, that's the shifter adapter. I'm going to move this there. I think we're good otherwise. I do need to get something for here because the wires kind of droop as they come over from one side to another. All right, I think that's everything I could do for now. Let me get this box over and we'll start unboxing it, see what's inside of it. Oh, this Lav Mic is so short. You talking about the monitors? So you see those monitors that are over there? You can kind of see this. You can kind of see this one right here. I have two monitors over there. But I also have, with Streamlabs OBS, I have a floating window chat that's always on top. And all my sims I pretty much run in window mode borderless. So I don't see the window at all. And so that way I could run chat on top of that in the corner. I could see chat. And then I have Streamlabs OBS running on that monitor. Then way over there I have YouTube going. So that way I could make sure that we're still connecting and the connection quality. But yeah, that's kind of how I've always been doing it. Sometimes I move these monitors, like when we did the bezel-less gaming with these guys. I used these monitors and I just brought them in. The problem is with a 49-inch 32:9 monitor and then two 16:9s, literally the side monitor over here came out to about here. About here. It was like covering my wife's computer screen. It was so massive. I would have to completely think of another way to do it. That's not going to take up so much room. Normal triples with 16:9s, I think is perfect, but I don't want the bezels, and that's kind of it. And I love this monitor. I really don't want to get rid of this monitor. So, you know, I would love to bring back the 16:9s on either side. It's just it's so darn massive. It was all the way out here, you know. And then it was the same thing. I really wasn't, you know, I wasn't doing anything off monitor and monitoring the live streams. Everything was behind it because I wanted to run the sim on all three monitors. So you run a 27 up here. Now, how did you mount that? I've seen people do that. How did you actually mount that? Are you running the SimLab like monitor mount with, because they have a monitor mount that has a like another monitor mount up here? Gotcha, gotcha. All right, let's unbox this and let's see what's inside. So this is these are the new bearings and some black electrical tape to use to hold them in. We got some new bolts and washers, some Allens there. Let's get this out of the way. All right, so now we have some structural pieces, it looks like. Let me get my knife. Let me get my kniff and drink some coffee. I'm gonna lower this down a little bit, being that we're gonna be on the floor there. It's like spring cleanup at the end of summer, you know what I mean? All right. So I'm not sure how many of these wood pieces that were on the original rig are going to be replaced. I think it's only the back, but it seems like it might be the back and the front. Like the whole thing now. So I guess it's the whole underside of the rig. Oh, that would be amazing. So we're getting rid of this whole wooden piece altogether. So the whole underside of the rig is getting changed. Oh, I'm even more excited now. Oh, this is going to be awesome. It's going to lift it up a little bit. Woo! It's gonna increase the mass. So this here is the very front of the rig where the front of the A-frame bolts onto. This is going to, I mean, this is steel. This is heavy steel. So this is absolutely awesome. And it's already got preset, like, I gotta bring this to you. I gotta show you. This is gorgeous. Go Prosimu. So right here, we got a bolt that's already pressed in there and welded. You can see, you can kind of see it welded in there. Yep, you could just make that out there. It's welded in. 8.8. There we go. And then on the front, the mid piece that's going to go to the back piece, you have these that are pressed in. So you just bolt in from one side to the other, and you don't have to worry about screwing MDF pieces of wood together. Oh, this is going to be solid. This is amazing. This is directly replacing this piece of MDF down there on the floor. That worked. That was just fine. This is awesome. You could see how the mid piece had this corner bracket and it was screwed into there. We don't have to worry about that anymore. I do still have those washers, and I know they included new hardware. So I'm going to see what they included. I'm not going to just carry stuff over. I want to see what the new hardware is like. So let's put this down here. All right. So this is going to be the new bracket for the traction loss system. So the actuator is going to bolt right into there. I'm going to put this on the side. You could have a desk monitor mount for the large monitor and run one on top. Oh, are you talking about like those floating arms type deal? Yeah, it's definitely like Christmas. Go. So when did we start the stream? I think it was 11 o'clock. Or a little after 11, like 11:30. And we already got the rig torn down, cleaned up the carpet it was on, and unboxing the new one. So this is actually going really fast. This is the mid support brace that goes in between the front and the back. Again, heavy gauge steel, pretty heavy duty. Nice powder coating, no scratches on it. So it's 4 bolts each for the front to back. Oh man. And the nice thing about it is it's going to be, I mean, I kind of wonder if there's any channels for wire management. I don't think there is. But it's going to look so much cleaner now that we don't have the MDF. Again, the MDF was fine, and I never thought twice about it. But now that we don't have the MDF, I am so excited. It looks much more of like a professional rig, you know what I mean? All this bracing back here. Hold on just a moment. Let me grab one thing real quick. Be right back. Sorry about that, guys. Well, I'm an idiot and I managed to cut my finger. So I was trying to hold it closed so that way it would stop bleeding. I didn't cut it on any of the product. It wasn't Prosimu. I was using the knife to cut some of the bubble wrap away and not paying attention. I ended up cutting my finger a little bit, but very, very small cut. Just had to get a Band-Aid on it so I don't bleed on all the new nice stuff that we got in here. Son of God 316 says, what is it? Ron Smith, what's going on, man? We have basically a whole new underside to my rig. So you can see back there the MDF pieces that are shaped as an eye. That used to be what my rig sits on from Prosimu. They sent an upgrade, an update to us kind of an upgrade, kind of an update. Now it's going to be all steel and nice and heavy duty pieces, and it's going to look super clean. It's powder coated. It's going to raise the rig up just a little bit, I think, maybe about 1/4 of an inch higher. But overall, it's going to be heavier duty, and it's going to look a lot nicer. So I'm super excited, and we're just getting these pieces together. So you can see the rig there. I already vacuumed up the carpet. We're just working on getting these pieces unboxed. And yeah. Got a little cap there. That's pretty neat. I guess that's where the actuator is going to go. But this is the back piece, what the actuator rides on for the traction loss. It's going to go back and forth on here. And that's where that actuator goes. They included a little cap there. A little bit of tape to protect the threads a little bit. And that's where it goes. So we'll keep that on until we're ready to throw that actuator on. No, it won't mess with my desk clearance because the rig is not going to be that much higher. Maybe 1/4 of an inch. I mean, not much at all. Andrew, all right, man. Have a good one, buddy. So let me get this right here. And get all the bubble wrap. There we go. All right, now I'm going to get this kind of all put together, these 3 pieces, and then we'll get it slid in place. It is pretty darn heavy. Again, on this one here, we do have the Preston nuts, so that way that middle piece can just bolt right in. I want to get it close to its actual spot because it is pretty darn heavy duty. I don't want to have to move this terribly too much. I am also going to try to move it in a little bit more. Let's see. Carpet's a little bit bunched up there. I think it's just this backside. Yeah, it's just the backside. Okay, all right. Let's get the hardware out. Start getting it together a little bit. So there are spots. So again, we have included 4 of these bearings, but I still have 2 on the, where is it? I still have 2 on there. So I'm just going to put the 4 in the other remaining spots. I'm going to replace 2. So that way we have 6 total, because there's actually, and I don't know if I need to do that, but I want to do that because these are free spinning. They kind of go in any direction, but I have 2 holes here that I can put 2 more in, and then maybe we'll replace these back ones with 2 new ones if I feel the need. I don't know. They all seem to roll really well. Anyway, I don't know. Just a thought. We'll see. Teal. CJ, have a good one, buddy. So yeah, these are essentially the wheels. You don't hear them at all. A lot of different motion companies use this sort of thing. So these are them. And they're mounted 2 in the front, 2 in the back right now. I'm going to put 2 more. And being that I'll have extra, I'll just replace the other ones as much as I can. But there's going to be 2 that are going to be pre-existing. So that way I can fill up all the holes. I don't know if it's necessary at all. Shouldn't mess with anything. But it's going to at least help with weight distribution. I think. I don't know if it's going to mess with anything at all. I really don't. I don't know if I should or shouldn't, but he only included 4, which is what we got originally. And I think that should be fine. All right, yeah, so we have all new hardware here. Whole new lock washer for the front. Lock nut for the front there as well. All right, then let's start getting these pieces together. Instead of using a screwdriver, these are now going to be using Allen. Get them all loosely put in by hand, and then we'll tighten them up. All the hardware is really, really pretty looking too, which is nice. Kind of reminds me of like AccuForce and Fanatec. Really pretty hardware coming with their equipment now. Before, I mean, all the Allens and everything that came on the base rig were really pretty too. This was probably just the sore spot, the underside of the rig, the MDF that everything kind of mounted to, or just sat on. Didn't really mount to it, just sat on it. And now they addressed that with a very, very solid option. And tomorrow morning we'll probably finish up the installation. I didn't think we would be able to, but it seems very likely now that we'll not have any issues doing that. I really like that the nuts for the bolts are pressed into the different pieces of metal, so that way you don't have to mess with all that, trying to get your fingers underneath. It's really good design. No, wrong size. Hopefully I have this size here. Nope, just a hair too big. There we go. going to be absolutely solid now. I like it. Yeah, it does roll like a bearing, yep. If you guys have any questions about this rig at all or any of the equipment that we have, let me know. Also, I asked a question earlier. I didn't know if any of you guys heard it or answered it already. Are you guys tomorrow going to be picking up the 3080 or waiting for the 3090 or waiting for what AMD with their big Navi has to release and how it compares? Let me know. Or are you just kind of staying with whatever you have now? I'm kind of caught in a weird spot. I really want the 3090, but after seeing the reviews that came out today, like from Jay's 2 Cents and all them, Bitwit, all them, I'm so impressed with that 3080. I don't know if I really need to spend that extra money on the 3090. You know what I mean? It's just amazing. The only problem that I have with the 3080 is I know that there's eventually going to be a 3080 Ti. Maybe not for 6 months or so, but you know, and if I have that mode of thinking, should I just go to the 3090? Is there going to be enough 3090s? Am I going to be waiting months because the 3080s were more plentiful in their production? I don't know. These are all thoughts that are kind of messing with me right now. But I'm definitely going to upgrade. I just don't know to what. We have a 2080 Ti right now, an EVGA 2080 Ti Black Edition. I'm pretty much open to any 3080 or 3090. None of them really caught my eye as, except for the Founders Edition, none of them was like super catchy to me or, you know, really made me want that specific one card. I just want the card itself. I'm just not sure which one I want yet. I mean, it would be nice to get the Asus Tough Edition because then it would match my motherboard completely because that's a X570 tough board, but I would go with any one of them regardless of the appearance just to get the processing power. All right, these are almost done being tightened up. Alrighty. There we go. This is solid now. This is the new base. And I'm guessing they only want that one washer on there. Only included that one. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough, but we'll see. Might still need to put the other ones that I have. Kind of wanting to put all the other ones that I have. We'll see if it's necessary. So, Mr. Mac, you're going to wait and see what AMD comes out with? I'm going to replace these back ones here.
I'm going to move this so that way you can see what I'm doing. I'm just right now slowly prying out these little rollers that the motion rig, the traction loss rides on. And these old ones, they didn't feel half bad. Let me see how the front of them. The front ones are still super smooth. I'm going to leave the front ones alone, and I think we're just going to replace the rears with all the new ones. And all they want you to do is you take the supplied black tape, it's just electrical tape. It's just electrical tape, but it's actually a pretty nice roll, full roll, and you just wrap it around the back of it, and it's enough to hold it in there pretty snug. Wrapped around a few times. I did this morning, and that's why I'm like, I don't know what I want to do anymore. I knew for sure I wanted that 3090, and I justified in my mind that I wanted that 3090. Now the problem that I have is, am I going to be happy with a 3090 if it's only 10 to 20% faster than a 3080, just with a lot more memory? Now the 3080 has only 1 gig less of VRAM than the 2080 Ti that I have. It's really not that different when you think about it, right? I do use it for streaming, so that's kind of what my thought process of getting the 3090 was, is because I use it for this business, right? So it's a business expense. But is it necessary to spend that much more, and am I really going to get that much more out of it? And I'm also afraid that I just may not be able to get my hands on them. You know what I mean? On a 3090. So I'm stuck right now, and I only have 24 hours to think about it, because tomorrow the 3080s are released. Is the 3080 going to suffice? And that's something I really don't know. It might, it's definitely going to be faster than what I have now. He said in some tests, they've seen as much as 30%. So, 20 to 30% difference. He was even saying higher than that, but, realistically, I'm kind of guessing probably a 20 to 30% difference. It's pretty big. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. It's a huge price difference between the 3080 and 3090. Huge. And I don't know if it's really going to be worth it for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got the 2080 Ti too, and I've been happy with it, but with live streaming on the same computer that I game on, sometimes my frame rate, because I like having all that eye candy on, all the effects on, sometimes the frame rate is really bad, like goes down to the 30s. You know what I mean? And then if I'm in VR at the same time as live streaming, it'd be pretty bad too. Most of the time when I'm on the rig, I'm live streaming. I'm not really, if I'm not live streaming, typically I don't have time to be on the rig, and I'm not on the rig. So, it kind of would benefit me to get the better card. But I don't know. I don't know if it's really going to be worth that price increase. Like, realistically speaking, I don't know. It's a huge price increase from the 2080 to the 3080 to 3090. And I know it's going to be faster. I know it's going to be a monster and everything. But I don't know if the difference between the 3080 and 3090 is going to be that huge. You know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about. I'm more so worried about VR performance. That's really where I'm kind of going at it here. I really want the VR performance to be good. Especially being that we got the HP Reverb G2 going to be, they're saying possibly shipping October 4th. It's kind of the leaked date that everyone's talking about, but it's not an official date from HP. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I really want, you know, top performance for the fact of streaming and gaming and simming and whatever and racing at the same time, and not have to worry about, oh, let me shut the mirrors off so that way I could actually race this race and live stream it at the same time. But the reality of it is the difference between the price from the 3080 to the 3090 is almost the price of just building another PC to live stream off of. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what's bothering me about that whole situation. Even though, I mean, I could spend the money. I have the money. You know, most of you guys have the money. It's fine, but it's just I'm worried that the performance increase is not going to be worth it. And I could just stream off my wife's PC because that's what I did at one point. And that's fine too. She never really uses it. She's good with me using it. But what I didn't like was the power draw in the house was much higher doing that. And the heat in the room, I mean, just instantly would become a sauna in here. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. That one went way in too easily. Yeah, the HP Reverb is just, it's a monster, and you know, it's running on the Windows mixed reality platform, which isn't the most optimized. But this one's co-developed with Valve, so you might get some of that benefit of some reprojection or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to be doing. We tested the last HP Reverb. You guys probably remember we had the last HP Reverb. Same resolution. We didn't have terribly too many issues with frame rate. It was here and there. It wasn't too terrible. It worked out. It was just fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot to think about. I'm glad that I have this opportunity to think about it. You know, that's awesome. I'm going to really try to, I don't know, that might be way too far in. Let me move some of these furniture movers onto here, so that way if I ever do have to move it, I can. All right, we're almost there. You know what? I don't think there's actually a good spot for me to put the furniture movers that won't create some sort of torsional issue. Let me leave them out. That's all right. We'll just try to move it as best as we can once we get it together. It's going to be real heavy though. That's the thing. No, I was using furniture movers just so I can move the rig back and forth on this carpet. The only thing is when I had it on the MDF, the furniture movers basically succumbed to the weight of the rig and it sunk into the carpet so much that I couldn't actually move it. So I was going to use it on this, being that this is more sturdy. The MDF is not going to bow or move or anything like that. And I'll be able to actually move the rig a little bit easier. Problem is, I really don't want to sacrifice the rig's rigidity at all and have any areas kind of floating above the carpet. It's meant to be flat down on the floor, so I'm just going to leave it like that, and I'll just deal with it. But yeah, it doesn't dampen the motion. At least nothing that I've ever noticed. Oh, that's pretty sweet. So now we have 4 of those in the back, 2 in the front. Oh, and it rolls really smooth now. That rolls really, really smooth. I don't know if... It's kind of hard to even see that. But this A-frame just slides so well now. I am going to grab a little microfiber, just wipe it off a little bit before I try to get the actuator, the traction loss on it, and bolt it down. So hold on just a moment, guys. All right, all back. We're almost done with the cleanup and the reassembly here. Just kind of crazy how fast it's happening. I could have probably have gotten this all done today if we really would have went at it. And I still might. I mean, geez, there's really not much more left to do besides try to get that rig on top of this one, get everything plugged back in. Which is something I'm not sure I could do by myself, though. That's the only thing. I'm not sure if I could lift that rig up by myself. I've done it before, but there's a lot of crashing involved, so we'll see. All right, so let's get this traction loss buttoned up. So it's already on basically the same exact bracket. So I'm not gonna, yeah, this bracket's pretty much identical. I'm not gonna replace this bracket that this is already on. You see this black bracket here? This is the one that they supplied. It's almost identical. I'm not gonna replace it. There's really no reason to. It's perfectly fine. Just gonna get this bolted down onto here. And I'll figure out exactly how we're going to run these wires without pinching them. Because I was running them under the rig before, but MDF is a little bit gentler. The steel is going to be super heavy, so I really don't want to rip those cables on the inside, because then we're really in trouble then. All right, cool. So I kind of move the rig in a little bit too. It's going to be a little bit harder to get in and out of. I might have to actually still slide it back, but I won't know until we get my base on and see where we're at. Let's see. I am missing a little nut that goes on to the traction loss. I don't know what the heck I did with it. Oh, there it is. Got it.
Where is that set?
How the heck am I missing a socket? Oh, it's right behind me.
There we go. That's it. Yeah, so smoke has been really, really bad. I haven't been able to go outside much at all. And being that I'm kind of sensitive to that sort of thing with my lungs, can't really be outside for too long. So, you know, walking my dogs has been really, really hard, and trying to find time to do it when the air quality clears up for a moment. But yeah, every day has been really badly smoky. It's been kind of annoying, to be honest with you. It's been going on for a few months now, it feels like. Just every day. And, you know, if you try to sit outside anywhere, enjoy some fresh air, well, there is no fresh air to enjoy. You just start coughing because it's just so bad outside. So, yeah, pretty much have been locked in the house for a while. Kind of tough. Where is my, there it is. Oh, that's not the size. Where did that socket go? I'm missing tools now. Oh, there it is. Come on, get on there. There's like a bolt blocking my access. There we go. Got it. Got it on. So let's tighten down this actuator. That will be done. Then all that's left is really getting that top part, the whole rest of the rig on top of this one, getting the wires plugged together, and we're done. There we go. She is tight on there. I think I'm going to run these like that. I kind of don't want to. I don't know if you could see the, these are the 3rd degrees of freedom actuator cables. I think I'm going to have to run them over and put the rig on top. Really don't want to, but I don't want to pinch those cables. And if I run them under here, they're going to get pinched. What if I run them in between these two levels? Let's see. Ooh, we have room there. We have room. Let me just lift up the front a little bit.
There we go. Okay, so we got room to do that. And it's not going to impede on the motion at all. I like it. All right, let's get that bolt on the front, wherever the heck I put it. There it is. I'm going to steal a washer off of this, put one on the inside. All right, washer's on. All right, and that bolt is on. I mean, the nut is on. Lock nut. Tighten that down. If I remember correctly, they said not to tighten it too much because you'll actually impede the motion a little bit. So all right, so there she is. That's the A-frame back together with the traction loss. Let me straighten this out a little bit before we get that other half in. And I think that's going to be pretty good. I like it. You're about 40 minutes away from the fires. What what city are you in? Or what city are you near? Are you near the fires like in Washington and California? I got to watch out now that this lavalier that we're using is much, much shorter. Oh, Oregon, okay. Yeah, I'm in Northern California by Sacramento. And yeah, it just, you obviously are going through the same thing that we're going through right now. So you already know. But yeah, we've been going through it for about, I don't know how long you guys been going through it. We've been going through it for about 2 months now. Feels much longer than that. Possibly has been longer than that. Whew. This rig is so heavy. I might actually have to come back and put this back on with my buddy tomorrow. But you know, I'll try to get it up and over as I've done in the past. Woo! Let me take a break for a second. Thing is heavy. Heavy, heavy. The town of the Gates is about 40 minutes from where you used to live there. Gotcha. So are they saying that the fires that are by you guys, is it caused by natural causes? Has it been caused by arson? Or because I know there was a few of them that were caused by arson. Not really sure if they even know what's causing all these fires that are going on. All right, let's try to lift this again. Let me come around this side. Gotta watch these cables. We already broke one cable today on my my favorite Lav Mic. Man, that thing is, it's a beast. Woo! I missed the gym today. Missed my workout today. And this is definitely making up for that. It's almost on. I just gotta get the two front actuators in their spots. Let's see where we are. All right, one's just outside. The other one's just outside as well. Okay. So I gotta go forward and to the right. no. Problem is, it's not really in a great spot for me to maneuver it because I'm up against the desk. And I think that's part of the problem is I'm hitting the desk, so the whole thing's got to come back. Well, it's easier to slide now, though. I wasn't able to slide it on carpet before. Oh, that's so much sweeter. All right, so that works out. A little win there. We're able now to move it on carpet. Wasn't able to do that before. Whew. Well, everyone, we officially got it back together. Now is going to be time for plugging everything back in. So maybe this is not going to be part one. Maybe this is the only part. Just rig work. I'm so glad we got to be able to clean up some things, some little things that were bothering me. Wasn't really that major, but we're gonna get the get this slid up and out of here. This is the Butt Kicker Gamer 2. You don't need that anymore. You don't need that wire taking up space. All right. All right, so let me get this all plugged in. Right now I'm plugging in the traction loss. And let's plug in this front left actuator. I'm gonna feed this AccuForce cable up. That ready to be plugged in. What am I? So that won't fall out. Then we'll plug in the other side, then plug in the rig. See if it calibrates. And I think we're done. I think we're pretty much done. Lightning and very dry. The arson stories were according to firefighters. False reports and sheriffs are in trouble for saying Antifa. Oh, really? I had no idea about that. I only heard the arson claim, and then that was it. I didn't know how far that story went. All right. Okay. I also have to plug in the different USBs. So right now, plugging in the shifter cable, and then I'm going to plug in the pedals. As well as the pedal cam, even though we don't really use the pedal cam too much anymore. Still want to have it plugged in just in case we go that route again. All right, so there's that. This, I think I'm actually going to go underneath. I'm going to start going underneath with these. That. And that. A little bit of tight space here. There's that. And now that. And for the USBs, good thing I cleared up some USB spots on this side. There's that one. And there's that one. So we do have wires kind of running, but I don't think I can do anything about that because they're going up to the USB port that's in the top middle. So there's nothing I could really do about that. Yeah. So everything is plugged in, except for that Sim Experience wheel. Let me just plug in that base. Let's make sure it turns on. I'm gonna get this whole rig straightened out because I kind of pushed it a little bit. And man, that looks so much cleaner. Just having that metal base as opposed to the MDF before. And it actually looks more compact. I really like that. Tanner, what are you doing? You just selling it, or are you going to be changing it up to something else?
Let's see if this thing, see if it calibrates. Tanner, what are you selling it for? Any idea? Have you thought of a price yet? Oh man, I didn't plug it in. All right, I heard them all. I heard all the actuators turn on, so that's a good sign. So one of the actuators don't seem to be on. It's that front left one. Doesn't seem to be on. I might have to unplug it and plug it back in. I think maybe the data cable got pulled or something like that. I'll check that out. I see a red light. Let me see. Very common issue with just a wire being pulled out a little bit. Or a wire not being plugged in all the way. Yep, wire wasn't plugged in. Darn it. Thought I plugged it in. So I'm going to restart the sim, unplug and plug it back in. And I got to see if we could center this traction loss. The traction loss is actually not perfectly centered. Yeah, you playing all your games on a laptop? Yep, there's that. Beautiful. Okay, so it's all working. Just the rear traction loss we have to get straightened out because it's actually a little bit off kilter. I don't know. I think that's a fair price. I'm feeling like that's definitely a fair price, but you know, I never really seen what they go for in the used market. Good luck with it, man. I feel like that's perfectly straight there. I gotta see exactly how I can maybe set up the... So I think this is turned in all the way.
Not really sure. I'm going to have to go through and look at it a little bit further. It might, you know, I'm kind of wondering if that bar is maybe a little bit shorter. It looked exactly the same. But that might actually be a little bit shorter, which would actually bring it a little bit straighter upon zero. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to have to make some adjustments, but it won't really change how the rig is performing. The whole thing kind of looks a little turned, and it's because of the traction loss, unfortunately. But overall, it's not going to really change how the rig's performing if I treat this as zero. But yeah, I definitely want to get that looking really nice and perfect. I just have to make some adjustments, and it's probably going to have to be, I'm going to have to install that other bar. I think this one's shorter. Let me test it side by side and see. Yep. Oh, darn. It is shorter. Okay. So I'm going to have to remove this actuator and install it onto this bar, but I actually don't really have the time to now. That's not that big of a deal. That I could do any point. And that should return it back to center. Either way, the rig is working now. We did get it back up and live, all in one stream, and I didn't think we could. So that's nice. We got everything cleaned up, which is cool. The rig sits a little bit higher, which is nice too. And being that it's a solid metal base, now I'm actually able to move it a little bit on carpet, which I wasn't really able to do before. And it looks gorgeous. I mean, it looks really, really clean now. I'm exhausted now. So now you can kind of see like the top of my head is completely cut because everything kind of got moved in a little bit. I mean, moved up. And that's about how much more I moved up. Yeah, I would definitely post it on the X Simulator community. I think on the X Simulator community, you'll definitely find someone that is looking for a motion rig. To me, that seems like a really fair price. Considering what they're going for new, I think that's good. But everyone, I'm Crash, this is RTA Motorsports. Thanks for hanging out during this this install. You can see the MDF back there just kind of hanging out. Got to get rid of that or do something with it. Not sure exactly what we would do. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Got a lot of cleanup here left to do. And then I got to get to work, unfortunately. So everyone, tomorrow morning, hopefully I'm going to get a live stream in. I do have to change this actuator mount, and I think that's going to return it to center where I need it to be. And then we'll be good to go. Everyone, have a great day. Be safe. And I'll catch you all next time.